All right, guys, ready for part two. So I left off the last video with some layouts that I did of taking my daughter to college. And I found a 2013 Simple Stories line. And really quickly, I want to mention too that the summer layouts in the last video, a lot of those were also Simple Stories lines. I combined 2 or 3 different collections together. Anyway, this is an older Simple Stories summer collection, and the reason I picked it was this next layout I'll show you. Actually, I'll show you. Let's see. This is a good one. So it had this kind of quilt pattern paper too, and I had, like I said, in a kit I had 2 or 3 different Simple Stories collections from the same time frame, so they all matched very well. But my daughter she very much likes the cottage trend, and so she had this kind of this green bedspread and then this quilt. And so I just thought that all the multicolored quilt and all the fun colors in this collection with a little bit of a vintage feel to it worked really well. So I worked with this collection for a lot of these pages. And so this one is just is the one I left off the last video with. It's just kind of a general overview of the transition she's going through. And so I just took a picture of her and her roommate, her in her dorm room, us in the car on the way to college with our car packed, and then the boxes of her stuff packed up. So that was what that layout was about. And this one here was just a couple fun pictures I took of her in her new dorm room. I wanted to just get a picture of her in her new space, and just did some layers of some larger pieces of paper with that quilt in the background, so kind of popped through with their quilt on her bed there. And then I did some layering and stuff up here, and I did this little pocket with journaling and then some embellishment down here, and just titled it College Girl. So there's that one. And then this one here, I pulled out the photos of just her in front of her dorm room and then the building that she's living in the first time she walked into her dorm room. So I just lined those up and did a little photo here of her picture was on the door, and I wanted to kind of get a close-up of that, and then just did some journaling on these cards and then some embellishing around that. So I kind of kept the embellishment this way here. And then these are overlays. I am so glad I used up tons of overlays, because Simple Stories collections used to have a lot of those clear overlays for your photos. So I used 3 on here, which was nice. So then I also scrapbooked with an older Simple Stories collection. The girls, my daughter and her friend group, went out and just took a whole bunch of fun pictures. I already showed you one of them of her and her cousin, but they went out and just took to the country and took a bunch of pictures together during their last get together before they all started leaving for college. And so I scrapbooked those with this older Simple Stories collection, and just thought it was so fun how it turned out. And so these are just some of the random photos, and I don't remember what this collection is called, but it was super cute. But it definitely feels like an older Simple Stories line, but it just worked for the pictures perfectly. It had colors, like my daughter was wearing green, of course, and then just had a lot of the colors of what the girls were wearing, and fit the country. They were out in the country theme, had that feel to it. So there's that one. And this one, which is some groups or pictures of just all of them together. And yeah, super fun. It was kind of perfect because it had this banner, or not banner, this border sticker, and they're actually perforated, so you could take them apart if you want, but it had up to 6, and since there were 6 of them, I thought that was perfect, so I used that to put their names on. And then this one here, just some kind of the offshoots and the funny pictures. I went ahead and printed those, and thought that there was a bunch of themed products that said fun and play and carefree and giggling and laugh, and so I thought those were good. That was a good those were good products to use for that particular page. So that was fun. Fun to do. Okay, so now we are in some older layouts. I don't think I've shown these. They look like Amy Tangerine, maybe. Just some pictures of my daughter, and it's actually an ex-boyfriend. Before going to a movie. My daughter getting her nails done. So yeah, this is definitely some Amy Tangerine, I believe. This one is, I'm not for sure. It looks like maybe I don't know. I can't tell what collection this is. Maybe some Vicky Bouton, maybe. That's what I'm guessing. And just some pictures of my daughter. And then some more, like, I talked a couple of videos ago about how I have a kit. I have a kit of like basketball, or not basketball, sports themed, school themed, dance themed, those kinds of things all together. So when I'm doing like sports layouts, I just pull those 1 or 2 bags. I think it's 2 bags now that I have full. And so here I did, and this is actually of my daughter, like a long time ago when she was in youth basketball. So I dug out some basketball product, and then I scrapbooked a couple photos, and then did a divided page protector of the rest of them, because I don't need to scrapbook every single one of those individually. But it was fun. I did some put some stickers on the outside of the page protector, and so that will go in the album together. So you have kind of the story and then a bunch of the other photos that go along with it. This is looking like maybe Paige Evans. Just did a layout about how my daughter loves to help paint. And so I've taken some pictures of her painting our kitchen in our new house, and wanted to scrapbook about that. And then this one, pretty sure this is Vicky Bouton combined with some of my like dance and cheer and Bobcat themed stuff, of my daughter making the Spirit Squad the end of last year. So, and then here's some old pictures, new layouts but older pictures, of my youngest graduating from preschool. And I think that collection's called Here and Now. I can't think of what company it is. It's a really cute collection. I said here and there, I think earlier on. Anyway, so I grabbed some graduation theme supplies that I had in my stash, and again did a 2-page spread, whereas one side's a layout, one side is a divided page protector. So I used the pockets to do some decorating in and some journaling in, and I think this is front and back. So that was some fun pages, and a fun page to do and fun pictures to get put into an album. So this one I just, make sure you guys can see okay, just did a photo of just her and then the whole group, and then just did some fun layering and decorating around that. I love this rainbow paper. It's so stinking cute. So let's see, that's an older one. I actually need to reprint that. All right, so here is, it's looking like Maggie Holmes, and just a picture of my daughter on the last day of school. She looked really cute, and I wanted to take a picture. And so just did lots of layers, horizontal layers of some different pattern papers, and then did 3 main clusters and then a tag in the middle there. And here I did kind of something different, where I only matted like this 2 sides. So I kept these 2 regular, but just had this pattern paper just showing up on the sides versus all 4 sides. It's kind of something fun to, different to do every once in a while, something a little bit out of the norm. Haven't seen these in a long time, guys. I forgot I made these. Another one with lots of horizontal layers. I must have been doing a class or something, or just in the mood. And it looks like I even did some some mixed media back there. So I'm guessing this is probably for a class of some sort. And so lots of layers, 2 small photos, and then just some fun embellishing around there. And just a picture of my daughter, a day we spent together. She got glasses and her lower braces put on, and then she had, it was like our first spring storm was that day, and she was super excited. She loves the weather, so it's documented that day together. That's an old one. Oh, I'm not sure if I've shown this or not. Did a fall layout a while back, just 8.5 by 11. Of some just pictures my daughter had taken with a friend. And so I just did, it was a grid layout there. This one looks like Paige Evans again. And just a picture of my husband and our niece. Some pictures they took together at an NHS induction, and thought it was a fun story to tell about how, you know, their relationship. So, and here I just kind of did an L there as far as the embellishment and the pattern paper. And then here I did a layout from my nephew's graduation. Did just a pattern paper piece here, and then used pattern paper as a background, and then just did some tags and embellishing and die cuts around cluster, as well as a little cluster up there with the information about the day, like the time and date and stuff like that. And then a double page spread also from the actual graduation ceremony of my nephew. I haven't done my daughter's yet. I don't know if I'm quite ready for that yet. It's still not quite real enough, but so just grab some of the Blue Hill colored supplies and themed items. We do have a scrapbook store that does sometimes get in local school themed items, so I can go in and get like Blue Hill specific papers and things. And then just some graduation themed. I had gotten these paw prints, I think Dollar General or something like that. I don't even know where I got those, but I have a bunch of them. And so I just use a bunch of graduation stickers and things like that. And so that was a fun layout documenting his graduation. And then a couple layouts that I still need to journal on, but I did these, and they were part of a class at some point. This here was really cute because I just don't do a lot of pre-decorating of like elements like that. Like here, it's like you pre-decorated and stamped on the tag and then used it as, I just don't take the time to do that. So it is nice when I get motivated by a class or something like that to do something a little bit different out of the norm. I'm a fan of pre-made items, and so I scrapbook faster that way, but something like that is super cute and I love it, and I need to stamp more, and I need to do those types of things more often. I have this space here open for the journaling, and I'm waiting for my husband to tell me the story about this day. It's an old picture from his family, so I wanted to talk to him about what I need to journal there. And then this is a 2-pager. I think it goes this way, of some family photos we took a few years ago, and I just need to journal on it yet. But this also was for a class, and just I love just the layout. It's super cute. So I always encourage people to do a class or do an online event or something it helps get you out of your box if you're getting in a rut, and where I haven't been scrapbooking as much lately. Sometimes I have a hard time getting going because I've just been out of that creative mode for so long that it's super nice to very helpful to get things going, get the flow going. So I also made a whole bunch of layouts for an album, and I'll go and show you that. The pages are already in the album, so hopefully it's not too glary. But I made an album for our Branson, I'm gonna go out a little bit here. For our Branson trip that my daughters and I took for band. I went as a sponsor, and so I did a lot of these in one sitting, one scrapbook session with Angie, came home and finished the last few. But just to give you a look, I used Maggie Holmes, her most recent travel themed line. mixed with a few other lines and kits from some classes. I kind of took things that had a similar feel to them and combined them together and did those. And so I have some group photos there. Let's see if I can get this so I can see. There we go. I won't do too many close-ups just because I think it'll get too hard to lift this up. But so just scrapbooked. I always struggle with things like this on whether I should do a mini album or a full album or just layouts. And there were enough pictures with this trip that I went ahead and ended up doing a full album. And that's fine. I mix it up. But here I did just a layout. Our sister-in-law met us. My sister-in-law that lives next to me also went on the trip. We had sister-in-law that was on our way to Branson that met us when we were there stopping for lunch. So scrapbooked about that. It's just some of our photos of the groups of kids, Branson Landing experiences. The kids went in and did Build-A-Bear, so I did a spread about that with lots of pictures of them doing Build-A-Bear, which was super cute because at their age I didn't expect that, but it was really a fun thing for them. Some pictures from Branson Landing, this really fun picture taken from one of the moms of the girls, jumping up in the air. And so I just wanted to really decorate that layout and give attention to that photo. I loved that picture. Some groups, some sponsor pictures and pages, and which a lot of them are my really good friends. Going to the tracks and doing all the rides. These are actually interactive pockets with lots of pictures of go-karting and things like that. Some pool pictures and some hallway duty sponsor pictures. So kind of scrapbooked really all the bits and pieces of the trip, all the detailed things that happened, their actual performance at Silver Dollar City, the saloon show at Silver Dollar City, and then we went to a magician afterwards, Riza, who's really good. It was amazing. And then just some off pictures, some random pictures of friends groups hanging out and sitting together and doing things. And we went to the Branson Bell, did a little dinner cruise, so documented that. And again, some more group photos and group pictures. From there, big sponsor group picture. And my best partner was my youngest daughter, and so I did a page kind of about sitting with her and how special that was. Big group pictures from throughout the trip they took. And I don't know if you guys can see okay, hopefully. And then the last one was just the last picture they took on the bus on our way home. So this is a different collection. I can't think of what it was called, but it was a travel themed collection. The tricky part with doing albums like this, and the things that I always run into trouble, is I don't have enough of a collection to completely fill it, and so I need to put other product in there. And so obviously I have travel product, but not all of it matches the feel of like Maggie Holmes. Maggie Holmes had a very special feel to her collection. And so the tricky part is just if you are putting in other elements into a kit, that is already coordinated, like even like this was part of a class that I did that matched the pictures but didn't really match everything else. And so I just made sure I scattered it in elsewhere. So you don't have like so for instance, I have that red and yellow here, and then I have it again here, and I might have it elsewhere back here, but it's not like I have one random page that looks completely different than the rest. Like that was my goal, was it's a few different collections, but it all meshes pretty well together, has some common things about them, whether it's just the travel theme part of it or the colors. But if I put something into the kit or scrapbooked one of these layouts with a particular set of supplies, I just made sure I somehow got those supplies elsewhere in the album. So it doesn't, so it's not like, doesn't stick out like a sore thumb kind of thing. So so that's always a tricky part is, if you have enough of a collection to really just do the whole album and just with that collection, but this ended up being a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. And I was like, oh, I'm out of my Maggie Home supplies that will work for these photos. What do I do now? And so I just made sure I just spread things out well, and they had a little bit of a different feel to them. Like my Disney albums, I don't worry about because they all have that same bright feel about them. So it's just one of those things that's it's hard to, sometimes you can stress a little bit too much about it. And I definitely stressed about this one more than I normally would, just because Maggie Holmes has a very specific feel to her pages, and they matched 90% of the pictures I was scrapbooking. But then you had those random photos that didn't really feel like a Maggie Holmes kind of layout. You know what I mean? So anyway, it turned out fine. I think it's fine. I just made sure I just spread everything kind of throughout the album so that it's not like totally out of place. So it feels like it flows pretty well. So I know Chanel has done lots of videos about, cohesive albums and things like that. And maybe someday I'll do a more in-depth video about that. But I really like how it turned out. It was a great trip. It was fun to document. Even though it was a fairly short trip. Like I said, normally I would do a mini album for something like that, but I did have a lot of photos, and I had both my girls on this trip, so I felt like that warranted, is almost kind of like a family vacation, even though my husband wasn't there. I had enough to be its own album. And so, gosh, you guys, thank you so much for watching and sitting through this. It's been a long time, but it's been so fun. I miss doing these videos. I hope I can get back into a routine. But I appreciate you all. The comments I'm already getting on the videos I just posted are wonderful. I appreciate it so much. I'm so happy to be back, and hopefully can get back into a routine with this scrapbooking thing. Just scrapbooking in my room or doing videos or both. I hope to be a little bit more consistent. So thank you guys so much. Happy crafting. Bye-bye.